Right, so we're looking at using equations in physics, but a lot of this can be applied to any topic that has lots of different equations. Um, so this is just stolen from a website somewhere, and it's just these are potentially all of the equations that you might need to know. But this was an equation sheet that was given to students last year who did GCSE AQA physics. This won't be the same every year because these guys and the year before suffered from losing lots of lessons over the pandemic, and so they got the exam board were nicer to them and they gave them a more thorough exam equation sheet, which gave them more equations than you would normally have. However, we still can use it as a base to identify the fact that all these equations are in order of topic. You may not notice that, so it's definitely worthwhile tracking down the equation sheet that you're going to end up having, and then essentially not memorizing it, but familiarizing yourself with it. No need to memorize it because you're going to get given it, but familiarizing yourself with it so when you do use it in the exam, you can use it quickly. So notice how they're in order of topics, and also notice which topic comes first, and also notice which equations are going to be given to you, which ones aren't. You'll know which ones to learn then, and which ones not to bother learning. Of course, by using them, you'll inevitably end up memorizing them anyway. So there's not really much point in trying to memorize equations, because as long as you're revising and practicing questions, it will happen automatically most of the time. So how do we use these equations now? We've got a question here and a question here. They're both the same question, only the one on the right walks you through the stages a little bit more. The first thing to do with any question really is to highlight the things that you are given and the thing that you have to work out. Now, when I say highlight, I don't mean actually highlight the way that I did, but just identify them. So force, mass, and acceleration. What I would say are these are the things that we're working with. Once you identify what we're working with, that's what you use to choose the formula. So we're working with force, mass, and acceleration. So we're going to use this formula, F equals ma. The second thing is to identify the thing that you are asked to work out, which is acceleration. And you use that to help to rearrange the formula. I'm not going to talk about how to rearrange the formula at the moment in this video, but there it is rearranged. And the final stage is the easy one. You plug in the values. This becomes more apparent in the harder questions, the longer-winded questions. But when it comes, first of all, don't forget the unit anyway. But also, if you get stuck on like, hang on, what's the unit? What do I write after this? That might be because you've forgotten what it is that you're working out. So it's acceleration. What is the unit for acceleration? It's not meters per second. It's meters per second squared. I could do another video. Maybe we could talk about units after this as well, actually, because that's a very useful thing. So this question is exactly the same because it's still a force of 50 newtons applied to 20 kilograms for 5 seconds, and it's still asking you what the final velocity is. The difference is it doesn't help you to realize that in order to do that, you're going to want to work out what the acceleration is. Because this time when I identify the things that I have, and I in fact haven't highlighted the time because we've been given time as well, then we don't seem to have anything. And there's this one here actually. Initially at rest, what does that mean? It means it's not moving, so therefore the initial velocity is 0. U is the symbol for initial velocity. So these are the things we've got. V we don't know. So these things we're working with. If you look on the equation sheet, there is no formula. I constructed one myself, but we'll talk about that in a moment. There's no formula on the equation sheet, all one you've had to memorize. However, there is this one, and there's this one. So by combining them, you could get this, or if you want, you could just do something like that. So first work out what the acceleration is. So from this one here, which is what we did in the previous one, we end up with 2.5 meters per second squared. And from there, we now can rearrange this equation to this, plug in the values, and there's our final velocity. So So yeah, so the first stage is like identify what you're working with, then rearrange the formula so as you can find out the thing that you want to find out. But if we've got a situation where the equation that we're looking for doesn't seem to be there, you may need to combine equations. So we'll look at another example of combining equations next.